Titans are mad they got another melee super, so I figured I'd share some of my own ideas for possible supers and abilities, and I figured if I'm doing Titan, I might as well do each class. We tackled Solar and Stasis already, so today we're going to take on Void. My idea for Warlock is to lean into Void being a kind of gravity aspect. So for Warlock, on Super, when they press it, they begin to emit a gravity rift around them that lifts enemies into the air, and when released, throws them back into the ground for big damage. I figured that they'd be able to hold the super button to either increase the radius of the rift, increase the damage of slamming enemies down, or both. The only problem with this is Bungie is actually changing the physics in the game to make it so that falling doesn't kill you, it just leaves you at 1 HP. For Hunters, I wanted to create a good in-between option for Tether, because if you want damage, you need to use Mobius, and if you want actual debuffing, you need to use Deadfall. So my idea is the true in-between option of firing 2 arrows at the same time. The first one does everything a normal Tether does, weaken, suppress, the works. The second pulls enemies in periodically and creates a high damage vortex nade. The duration will be somewhere between Deadfall and Mobius. I think 7-8 seconds is about right? And the nade damages less than hitting all your Mobius, so it really becomes that in-between option for the two. Titans have their identity in Void channeled pretty heavily into the shield, but I wanted to go into a different direction. On press, the Titan makes a small bubble in their hands that they can then throw. If it hits the environment, they just create a normal bubble, which can be a good, albeit expensive, option to help teammates. However, if it comes into contact with an enemy, it creates a kind of void div bubble on them for a little bit. While that bubble is on the enemy, any damage that hits the bubble is stored until a time or damage threshold is reached, at which point the bubble collapses in on itself, doing all the damage you did to the bubble, but multiplied by about 20 to 25%, making for some fun one-shots on bosses. I definitely lean into Void being a more gravity aspect, especially for Warlock and Titan, but if you guys have your own ideas, feel free to leave them in the comments. We already covered Solar and Stasis, so if you guys want to go check those out, that's up to you, and tomorrow we'll be covering Arc.